Hey, happy Sunday, everybody. Mark again here at Weatherman Plus. Now, we have two strong storms coming, and you have upgraded on the storm coming from Wednesday into Thursday with a big enhanced feature. We also have severe weather for today, chances for damage and winds and tornadoes in a few locations. But what's happening in the Gulf, I'm showing in about 72 hours will re-intensify and come right back across the south and the southeast of the U.S. Now, this has a 50-50 chance of actually strengthening towards a storm, believe it or not. And it's not because of any kind of water, it's because of the atmosphere. Now, just like when we had Beryl that came across and everybody said Beryl was going to go all the way across and leave, I showed you in the atmosphere why Beryl was turning and going towards Texas, showing it was true. I'm going to show you what this one is doing. This one is trying to do almost the same thing. Plus the cold front that you're in now, it is still sticking around for at least another week, everybody. So I'm going to show you the latest information, what's going on in the weather world. So just sit back and watch, and I'm going to show you what's going on with the weather. Now I want you to know all the facts, so we're going to start here with National Hurricane Center showing this has 0% chance of any kind of formation in the next 48 hours. But it actually has a 20% chance in the next 7 days, everybody. That's what you got to listen to. It's not the next 48 hours. It's what this is going to do when it actually meets up with this front. Now, the latest information with the Euro, you can see this. In the next 72 hours, 100% chance of forming a tropical depression right there over Mexico. Instead of this rotating over northern Mexico, it's gotten closer towards the coast. And there's a lot of lift, a lot of instability over there, helping these storms grow. And what's in the atmosphere is going to help this storm stay rotating until that trough comes by and pulls this northward, everybody. And you can see afterwards with the Euro, showing more likely will go right over landfall. So it strengthens, then it weakens back down, then it gets pulled out through the south and the southeast. Now I'm showing, if anything, if it does not happen right here across the south, it more likely will form right over here along the mid-Atlantic. Just a late former right before the coast. Plus, all the water over here in the western Gulf is all in the mid-80s. Very warm water. All you need is 80 degrees to sustain a tropical system. Now, just like Beryl, I'm going to show you the weather pattern for this system trying to form. Look at this, everybody. So when you look at your upper level winds, these are your winds that move and steers everything around. So what you have here is you have a low pressure trying to form. Remember, low pressure goes counterclockwise. While you have two upper level highs going clockwise. You see this? So on the east side of this system, the upper level high is helping giving favorable flow with it. On the western side is giving favorable flow, helping this low pressure spin in the upper levels of the atmosphere. But this does strengthen and lower towards the ground. So look at this. As we go towards that 48 hours, towards that 72 hours, it starts strengthening and that jet stream grabs a hold of it right there. So you still have the upper level high on the western side. Now you have something spinning and rotating going over 2 days. But now you have the jet stream that's grabbing it. So it's going to pull it north and east in the direction of the jet stream. And you can see it strengthens as it goes further towards the north and then gets carried towards the east after we get that severe weather event for Wednesday into Thursday. Very strong winds aloft. Now, at this point, we're going right past 5 days, and it's showing we could have a tropical storm forming because of what the atmosphere did. Not like the Gulf goes over landfall. That's just silly. Now, Euro shows that this strengthens as it goes across the south and east, brings a lot of high winds and a big tornado threat. And when you look at the atmosphere, you can see with your instability that you get a lot of instability forming right over the western Gulf, over Texas. And this will help those thunderstorms grow while they're getting rotated by the upper level highs. But look here on the vorticity, you can see the rotation happening right over Mexico. And it's happening because of those upper level highs. So remember the reason, everybody. Then as this gets pulled further towards the north, it gets some more energy from the Gulf. So it tips in a little bit further towards the east. It gets big and broad and it starts pulling in more tropical moisture from the Gulf, and then it helps it intensify a little bit right there. Now this literally has a 50-50 chance of forming, maybe about a 40% chance of forming. I will show you in the ensembles. In fact, you know me, I like to show a little bit of confidence when I show these systems trying to do something. I try and show all the information I can and show you any trend. Well, the GEOS satellite sees the same thing that the Euro sees. They are trending together. That this big pocket of moisture is going to build up right over the Western Gulf, and Texas is going to use that as it goes a little bit further from the east, getting pulled by that jet stream. Then it's going to intensify as it goes across the south and east. Now, we get some more dust later on, but until then, there is no dust right there. This is all tropical moisture that can do as it pleases according to what the atmosphere is doing. Now, the atmosphere is a bunch of upper-level highs spinning this low pressure. Looking at the latest pressure with the GEOS satellite, confirming that we more likely will get that low pressure forming right close towards the coast, so it will use more tropical moisture to help strengthen the storm as we go from Wednesday, showing maybe a tropical storm is going to form as we go through from Texas into Louisiana and across the south, and then go across the southeast as well. So we need to watch out for that. Just because people aren't saying it's not happening, don't make it true. You got to remember, there's a lot of narcissistic people out there. And if it's not their story, they're not going to promote it or talk about it. And for those that don't know, I'm not just talking out my ears. There's a lot of people that said on many hurricanes in the past that it wasn't doing this. And I showed why it is. And it actually showed true. Look at the ensembles. So you can see over here, chances over here on 21, showing the same thing. Something could form up. Also over here, on this one over here on 3. You also can see it over here on 19, showing in a few of them that could form up by the time we go towards that Friday and that Saturday. Something could come around that corner. And you see it forming up late over here on 23. We're seeing a lot of that as well, a lot of late formation possible. Look at the other 25. They're a little more confidence that something is trying to form. Now, this right here going right back into the northern Gulf, you can see with all these, more likely won't be that scenario. It will stay either right along the edge or right on landfall as it goes around. You can see with the rest of these, showing this is forming up later on. You can see it start growing more and more confidence in these ensembles, everybody. Look, the confidence is growing that something is going to form. You see this? It eventually gets in about 50 of them, if not more. And still showing as we go through for Monday, that low pressure coming through with a shortwave trough. Still bring a little bit of winds aloft, a little bit of severe weather, maybe for Tuesday as well for Ohio Valley. They have too little marginal risk for that, so I'm not going to go through that. As we get closer, I'll go through that. But he's showing that as we go through for that Wednesday event, we still have a lot of strong winds aloft. This is going to bring chances for strong tornadoes, a lot of damaging winds, and very large hail from Wednesday into Thursday. Then we have what's trying to form in the Gulf in the south, everybody. And you see it has upgraded. Now we have the enhanced feature. This will upgrade again. So far, here's your cities and states at risk for the severe weather for Wednesday and for Thursday going towards the northeast. It has shrunk a little bit towards Ohio Valley, but I do believe this will grow towards the Tennessee, Kentucky Valley. So here's your cities and states at risk for the severe weather for Thursday. And you see the latest information here. So National Weather Service for Wednesday. You can see what Colorado State University still showing we're going to get an upgrade for Wednesday, even significant, severe, everybody. So if you're in eastern Kansas, Missouri, southern Iowa, western Illinois, please be aware for Wednesday, this will be strong. It will carry into Indiana as well. Then as we go through for Thursday, look at Colorado State University, showing this will go all the way towards the southern side of the U.S. Showing the latest on the winds will bring still 50 and 60 miles per hour wind gusts as we're getting that storm system from Wednesday into Thursday and whatever tries to form across the south, everybody. Look at the update that just come out this morning. Still showing the same thing. We only see up to 6 days. That's why you're not following the track all the way across. Now, just like everybody else says, if this was GFS, we would take this with a grain of salt, especially if it's not trending. This is the European, everybody, and is trending with the GEOS satellite and other models showing this could re-emerge. Please don't push this away. Last thing you want to do living next to the Gulf is push this away. Remember the forecast. These are the type of storms we're going to be looking for all through hurricane season. Latest information shows maybe by Tuesday evening, we could get some storms forming over here from Michigan, going to Illinois, Indiana as well, as we're getting a strengthening low pressure. This low pressure is getting stronger. This is cyclogenesis, so it could bring more of a threat, a bigger threat for Tuesday. I will keep you updated. But as we go through for Wednesday, we still have a very strong storm coming through for the north central, and this is intensifying the storms as we go through for Wednesday evening. And you see cyclogenesis still on this storm. bringing chances for tornadoes, damage and winds, and very large hail as we go all through Wednesday evening, overnight getting that squall line across Ohio Valley and the Great Lakes, into Thursday towards the interior northeast, bringing a threat again for tornadoes, damage and winds, and hail. And then the update on what this storm is going to do across the south. Plus the cold front you have now, how long you will feel it. Remember, we're going through our weather pattern change all the way towards the 17th. When we hit the 17th, this is when we're going to go through a different weather pattern change, but it has come up greatly. Instead of a deep negative tilt, now when you go into a negative PNA, a Pacific North American pattern, this is where you get a high ridge on the center to the east United States and a deep trough on the western United States. So with it way high to the north like this, that deep trough is going to be short-lived across the west, and this is going to stay lingering across the north with this positive PNA a little bit longer. That's why when you look at your temperatures, you can see you have all these below average temperatures happening all the way towards Tuesday. And then it still moves out through Wednesday and Thursday across the northern side of the lower 48. But look at this. Now it stays even longer because that pattern change isn't going to be such a huge change. And the cold front stays longer all the way towards the weekend, everybody. And maybe a few days past that as well. All the way into the early 20s is possible. Now, we do have severe weather for today, and it's going to be a pretty significant storm, I do believe. Yesterday, we didn't get any tornado reports. We have 160 wind and wind damage reports. And we still have a lot of people without power, over 145,000. The main one is 37,000 for Missouri, 28,000 for Illinois, and 18,000 for Indiana. So for today, you can see how that slight risk has grown greatly, and our chances for tornadoes covering the whole interior northeast out through New England and over here across the mid-Atlantic. So here's your cities and states at risk for a potential tornado for today, and the wind threat as well. You can see it's going up in that 30% in multiple areas. This is bringing more than 50 miles per hour wind gusts. This is bringing up to 60, so just be aware of this. So here's your cities and states at risk for the damage and wind threat for today, and the hail threat as well. The hail threat is on the lower end, but you still have a threat. So here's your cities and states at risk for the hail for today. Now this is going to greatly grow as we go through the afternoon, showing once we hit around 1 and 2 p.m., we're going to get a nasty line of storms coming through for Indiana, Ohio. Might even get some cells forming up right in front of it that could heighten a tornado risk that you are not in right now. So just be aware of this. You can actually see the timing a little bit better here. So as you go through the evening, look how these cells form up right here. For Ohio, also West Virginia, as you get in this linear event of damage and winds and hail, and as that comes through all afternoon long, it brings all the winds, but it also brings that tornado threat that grows as that gets pushed towards the east. Then we get another linear event. We get it over here for western Pennsylvania, western New York, even upstate New York. Some over here for New Hampshire, going through Maine as well, as this builds up from Virginia towards Maryland, bringing more chances for damage and winds that could evolve into a tornado threat. It could be an embedded cell in there, so just be aware of that as that comes through all evening long. So there's going to be some very powerful storms just for today. And that is your latest update, everybody. So thank you again for your time. Hope you have a great day. If National Hurricane Center upgrades this because they see the things that I'm talking about in this video as well, if they're seeing on agreement of those things and upgrades it, I will do another afternoon update just so you know the latest information on that storm. People, please do not ever put your back to the Gulf. You should know this. And if ye lend to them of whom ye hope to receive, what think have ye? For sinners also lend to sinners, to receive as much again. But love ye your enemies, and do good, and lend, hoping for nothing again. And your reward shall be great. And ye shall be the children of the highest, for he is kind unto the unthankful and to the evil. Be ye therefore merciful, as your Father also is merciful. Amen. Have a great day, everybody. Thank you so much for your support. I really appreciate it. I will not let you down. I will keep you updated. And remember, above all things, all glory does go to God, our Father in heaven, Yahweh. And I always hope he keeps you safe every single day of your life and forever. Amen. Hallelujah. Amen.